She's on a conference call.
Hello, everybody. This is Nanette Kennedy, and I am with Humanities Team and the Evolution Revolution. Sorry, I was doing something and forgot what I was doing. Anyway, today is Humanities Team Global Oneness Day, October 24th.
Yeah, happy Global Oneness Day.
Yes, happy Global
Forgot to
Oneness
say
Day.
that.
And it is 10/24/21.
It's always the same day in that, right? It's always on the 24th, right?
Yeah, but we've been doing it all week.
Yeah, oh, I know, but
yeah,
the
it's always
day
the
is
same day.
24th.
Yeah. So anyway, we are reading The Only Thing That Matters, and we are going to hand this over to Linda so she can get us situated, and everybody should go on mute if you're not on mute.
I'm gonna find it. I'm sorry.
Okay, Linda, take it away.
Okay, hi everyone. So we are reading The Only Thing That Matters, which is Conversations with Humanity, Book 2. We're on chapter 33. And last week we discussed chapter 32, but we did not read, according to my notes. So somebody straighten me out if I'm wrong. So chapter 33 starts on page 159. That puts us 70% through this book. So we're starting the discussion of what's next. I did look at the list of publications by date. And the next book after this one would be, where did it go? The 25 core messages, what God said, the 25 core messages of conversations with God that will change your life and the world. That is the next one in order of publication.
I thought we'd read that, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think so.
Maybe not. It's just, all these.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I think we have all read, I've read all of them,
right.
but in terms of reading them in order, I don't think we have. I don't recall reading it.
Okay.
We haven't read it since I've been in the book club, which I know
Right.
is not from the very beginning, but we definitely, I haven't read it.
No,
Right.
and so that's what we'll do.
What God said, the 25 core messages of conversation with God that will change your life and the world.
Okay. So, chapter
Okay.
33.
Here we go.
Take it away, Linda.
How high is the bar? Now a word here, please, about expectations, specifically those you set for yourself. Part 2 of this text established very clearly where your soul intends the sacred journey to take you. But be careful that you do not set the bar too high in terms of how or when you get there. Your goal is completion, but that does not mean that you have to show up as a mistake-avoiding, humanity-denying, wisdom-seeking guru every moment of your life. In fact, everything you do moves you forward on the path of evolution. So do not berate or beleaguer yourself for not doing it right as you move through your days and times. Make ample use of this third tool for life. Compassion. Remember that completion was defined as the totality of you expressing and experiencing divinity at the highest level that the circumstance, condition, or event of a present moment allows, given your level of consciousness in that moment. The final phrase in that last sentence is not unimportant. It would be highly beneficial for you to wrap your understanding of the sacred journey in those words. Nothing will cause you to feel waylaid faster than expecting the impossible of yourself. Remember what divinity itself expects of you. Nothing. Nothing at all. You are not required to do or be anything, and nothing is demanded of you. The entire process of life is an exercise in free will. And free will means exactly that. It does not mean that you are free to do or not do what someone has told you that God commands. It means you are free to express and experience all of life exactly as you choose, and there will be no judgment or punishment involved. It will take some time in earthly terms for the new mind to include in its database the soul's awareness. Your old mind has, after all, been inundated with all manner of temporal truth, which is quite different from spiritual reality. A soul knowing. Everything you do moves you forward on the path. At first, you may want to deny your soul's awareness. Ironically, considering that you have told yourself that all of life's truths emerge from an all-loving God, you may tell yourself that the eternal awareness brought to you by your soul is actually too good to be true. It seems incredible on the surface that you have truly been given absolute freedom to make your decisions and to create your life as human beings' level of consciousness, or to use our, okay, hang on a second. I'm getting a message. My internet is unstable, so let me turn my video off. Okay. It seems incredible on the surface that you have truly been given absolute freedom to make your decisions and to create your life as you choose. As well, a human being's level of consciousness, or to use our sponge analogy, the ability of your mind to absorb your soul's awareness, will most likely be different at age 7 from what it will be at 47 or 67. Not necessarily, but most likely. To make the illustration more immediate, your own level of consciousness could be remarkably different tomorrow from what it is today, and for that matter, in the next instant from what it is right now, perhaps even as a result of reading this. Wisdom, which you have brought to you, from you, through yourself, from yourself, through yourself. Know too that consciousness fluctuates. It does not remain constant simply because it has reached a certain level, but increases and decreases depending on the amount of the soul's awareness that is integrated into the mind's experience at any given moment. Or, as one observer put it, enlightenment is not like getting your tonsils out. Once it's done, it's done. Enlightenment is a moment-to-moment experience. That is both its challenge and its delight. The quest is never over, and it is never boring. Yet there is a way to put an end to the wild swings from extremely high consciousness to very low consciousness that you may have encountered on your sacred journey. That way is to use the tool of compassion when you observe yourself expressing less than your highest consciousness. Allow yourself to notice that you are just as you need to be, just when you need to be, in order to move forward the agenda of your soul. You are learning how to do that. Or more correctly, remembering what your soul already knows about that. Conversations with God says something quite remarkable on this. It says that it is impossible for you to make a mistake. It is only possible to take steps that continue to lead you to your destination. A true scientist never becomes discouraged for long, if she becomes discouraged at all, working in a laboratory and failing to get the desired results. The scientist understands perfectly that the more sophisticated the experiment, the more nuanced each step in the experiment must be. The slightest shade of a difference in approach or in any of the many variable aspects, and the outcome can be vastly altered. Yet each approach leads towards the scientist's desired destination. Your life is exactly like that. Your actions, even those you would label as errors, could not be more perfect to ignite your remembrance of all that you choose to remember, to experience all that you choose to experience, to get you to all the places you choose to go through the blessed expression of life itself. So then, each time your experience shows you the next step on your path, allow your heart to open, not close, knowing that heaven is at work here and all will be well. Poet M. Clare has written of this too. Please do not regret all those moments that have brought you here. If you are reading this, then your perseverance has been answered and a grace is coming. So for now, hold on loosely to where you are, and like knots on a rope that mark your reaching hand over hand, you will continue to climb, sometimes through ecstasy, sometimes through white agony, but higher into ever more light. This same formula over and over again, until that day you find yourself just a beacon, only a flame, in a place where even love itself has come undone. And that's Love Itself, copyright 2006, M. Clare. Dear sweet, wonderful one, know that the soul's intention is never to bring you to the breaking point, but always to invite you to the breakthrough point. On your way there, be gentle with yourself. Be soft and understanding and kind, and use this tool of compassion. Remember what was said in the very early going of this exploration. You are doing nothing wrong. You are simply remembering, and you cannot remember all of the soul's wisdom at once. You really do have to wring out every sponge every now and then if you wish to absorb the ocean. Your present level of consciousness is therefore not a measure of your goodness as a human being, nor of your credentials as a spiritual entity. A third grader is no less a beautiful child than a fourth grader, and no less a picture of perfection than a college graduate. And one who has slipped and fallen and gotten up again has had to call forth more courage than one who, while still brave enough to be taking a challenging journey, has never scraped a knee. So have compassion for yourself. You are courageous and good, and you deserve it. And while you are using this wonderful tool, please be sure to direct it to others as well. They too are just now remembering, and some of them have not yet remembered as much as you. One of the highest uses of compassion you could ever devise will be your employment of it with everyone whose life touches yours. Many will come to you with their anger, their upset, their injury, their neediness. Many will call on you in their moments of dysfunction and their cloud of unknowing. In their confusion, some of them will actually imagine that they need you and only you to heal their wounds and to bring them what they have not yet learned how to give to themselves: love and understanding and acceptance and patience and forgiveness. And the more often you use compassion to offer others these gifts, the greater will be your familiarity with this remarkable healing tool. And you will then find it easier to use on yourself. Compassion is not always easy to give to oneself. Many people find they are not comfortable receiving this from themselves. It interrupts their story of never doing it right, or of being at fault, or falling short, or not being good enough. They feel that by being compassionate with themselves, they are letting themselves off the hook, or giving themselves a pass regarding something they should continue to feel bad about. So to be tough on themselves, they decline to offer themselves compassion. This allows many people who have felt bad about themselves for not doing it right since childhood to continue to do so. In this, they are their own hardest taskmaster, or as the late Walt Kelly famously said through the voice of his beloved comic strip, Pogo, "We have met the enemy and he is us." A soul knowing. Compassion generates clarity. Finally, after treating themselves this way for years, the only way many people can ever feel comfortable using the tool of compassion is to use it on others. Often it's hard for them to even find the tool. It's been so long since they've used it. Yet the miracle of compassion is that if you even find the edge of it, if you even touch the tip of it, the iceberg melts. The effect is instant. The heart opens. And suddenly, when the heart opens, the mind opens. It can hear things it could not hear before. Like the soft voice of the soul, gently offering a larger view, a deeper understanding, a greater perspective, and quietly engaging a different agenda, a new priority, an altered purpose. Immediately in the space of compassion, what really matters becomes clear. No one who sits in the seat of compassion finds themselves focused on irrelevant things. Compassion generates clarity. So use this gifting tool often. You will find that its effect is circular. As you give more to yourself, you will have more to give to others. As you give more to others, you will have more to give to yourself. You can start at either place. It is all of life, simply another form of love.
Thank you very much, Linda. Who would like to start? Now, don't everybody run for the unmute button so
Unmute.
fast.
Crazy. I just love the part when he's talking about compassion. I mean, of course, we all think about compassion, but just very succinctly describe that. I like that.
That was beautiful. And you know, I frankly think this closing paragraph, so use this gifting tool often. You will find that its effect is circular. As you give more to yourself, you will have more to give to others. As you give more to others, you will have more to give to yourself.
That's
You can
exactly what I was talking about.
You can start at either
Yep.
place. Yep. I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And when Neale mentions here about, I think it's a couple pages back, it's something about, oh, here it is. And suddenly when the heart opens, the mind opens. It can hear things it could not hear before, like the soft voice of the soul, gently offering a larger view, a deeper understanding, a grander perspective, and quietly engaging a different agenda, a new priority, an altered purpose. Immediately, in the space of compassion, what really matters becomes clear. And what that brought up for me is every time I lost a loved one, there is a window of time that happens instantly upon the death of a loved one. That for me, because I always go outside once I hear that kind of news.
Mm.
And there is a clarity that I can't even do justice in describing, but it seems like I'm more aware of audible, the birds, the wind, tree branches moving, and you do have that feeling of what really matters comes clear.
Mhm.
Over.
I very much agree that when we live through the senses, then we live more, I think, to recognize or to even to be grateful for, to have very refined senses and to see to perceive the world even through this, and even to stand with these energies. It's sometimes demanding when the energy levels are high out, whatever, sunstorms or whatever. But on the other hand, it's even gives more, how do you say, it pictures it, the life more in all its shades and in all his nuances. I think sometimes it's also a little bit difficult for me now to find always the right words, because it's very delicate within to see the life. But I think it's very much to see and to perceive the world through the senses. It's just opening another door, even the door for compassion, because if I sense or feel or perceive my life, and I also agree or not agree, can go into it that other people also, if I cannot how to relate to their reaction. Sometimes if I ask them later on and they tell me, oh, I was there and I felt like this, and so then it's for me much easier to understand, instead of just going into whatever confrontation or something. Just, yeah.
Agreed. Thank you.
And then I also just, and I think it goes, this passage in the book from Neale, it goes a little bit aligned with what he said on his 4-hour lecture. I think there was, I don't know, it just comes together for me, the very great experience he talked about, he made with somebody who confronted. I'm just coming back, I think, several times on this, because it's so much turning, or it's a gift, I think, when we have it. What he talked about, he was confronted by a man who was telling him that all was he talking about in a meeting, he was, and his beliefs, what he tells people, it's crazy and it's nonsense. And he did not react. He just did say that this man is a great one, that he has got the power or the energy, or even he is so strong to stand in front of him and to talk about and to tell him what he really feels. And then he invited him to talk about his opinion, and that they can share their opinion. And they went back into the meeting and they shared this gift. And I think for me, it's something very, very it's life changing if we really are aware of that we can, with people they are just against us or they are just not aligned, and we can just, we don't have to react to them. We can invite them with compassion to, and then to listen to them, because something then it's going to shift. It will shift because we are listening. The other person comes down and we can come align. And I think it's what really I think I have been talking about this subject the last time, I think 20 times, but for me it's so much life change. I think it's that much life changing if we are really able in our day lives to act like this. Over.
I think listening to people like that is really key, because people really want to be heard and understood. I have a job working in a pro bono legal clinic at a law school, and the services that we offer are limited, especially with COVID and the departure of one of our professors. So I spend a lot of time telling people, I'm very sorry, we can't help you with your problem. And I find a lot of times I just let them tell me what their problem is, you know, and then I tell them, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And then if they need to say more, I listen. And a lot of times what I get in response is, well, thank you for calling me back. You know, thank you for listening, basically. And I think that just that act, you know, you're absolutely right, is very powerful in itself. The other thing that struck me about this chapter, and I didn't have anything to say right away, Nanette, because of my reaction was just like, yes, 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 yes to it all. Yes, it all makes sense. But the one thing that to me is very important is this notion that there are no wrong steps, you know, like everything is bringing us here to this moment. And that's important to me, because I know that there have been points in my life, and I see it a lot in other people, where, you know, they think that you can lose the path, right? They think that I have a life path and I can lose it and be in the wrong place and do the wrong things. And I had that revelation myself a while ago, that, like, you know, if this is where my feet are, that's where the path is. I don't determine the path, I walk the path as it unfolds.
And there's no right or wrong.
Yeah,
There's
it's
no
all
right or
part of
wrong
the
path.
journey. It all takes you
You
where
learn
you're
all
going.
from your paths.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong.
Yeah, so I think that that's an important concept when people haven't realized it yet.
Right.
I know it was for me, so. Over.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dima?
Yeah. I have found out about the compassion, that the chapter actually confirms my experience, and to see when I'm just present, it doesn't matter to whom, if I'm really present and listen deeply, and I can feel what they say, and I can feel the response in the people. And I think that is my most important part in my life, especially now in my age and so on. I have been spending 4 days now, with 2 days with a meditation retreat with an old friend who is a meditation teacher, but we were experienced. But just to be present with each other, it gives so much back. And I have been for 2 days in a course with many young people also. We were about 50 or 60 people, but many young ones, and they often come to me because I am present, and I can listen in a deep level, and I really feel so grateful for the young ones who connect to me and feel that they are seen and heard in another way than often by parents and so on. So I feel that compassion is really to be present and no judgment, just be there and get deep into the presence of the other person. I think that we don't do wrong. We are where we are. That's true. So thank you. I love that chapter, and thank you for your sharings.
Thank
Over.
you. Anybody else at the moment?
Well, I don't know this about mistakes. I don't know. I think that in my life, I have done many mistakes, but here is written that these are not mistakes, but as I understood this, some stepping stones, something like this. But what if I don't know why, or me, thinks that these were mistakes? I don't know. It's sometimes I think hard to understand that just everything is perfect and should be in this way. If I think, for example, that should be different, should not be this way. I don't know. I found in another book how is written that we have to see what is happening, and that this is all God, and to, how to say in English, say, yes, it's okay. It is like this, and this is God's perfection. I don't know, very good to say this in English, but I found this in another book, I think first or second, that so we say, yes, God, you are perfect, and this is perfect as it is. But if I think that I should done differently, for example.
I agree with everything you said, Oriana, and I mean, I'm stuttering. I think that all things are happening in perfection, whether we judge them that way or not. And I'm just going to mention something really short, and I'm going to open it back up to everybody else. And I may have mentioned this before, but I don't recall because I'm a senior citizen. But my second dad, this was in 91, I think, 1991. He was very ill, and he was not going to sit in the hospital and die. He just was having nothing to do with that. And he was active till the last 24 hours of his life. And even in those last 24 hours, he would get out of bed. He would sit in a chair and he would talk. But the night before that, the TV was on in his bedroom, and the Kansas City Chiefs, which is a football team, and I'm from Kansas City, we're in a playoff game or something. Could have even been a Super Bowl. I don't know. And no, it's the Broncos that were. And I was really getting worked up that the Broncos were not doing that well. And my dad, I was sitting on the side of the bed next to this chair, and he put his hand on my knee and he goes, Nanette, none of this means anything. And he said, you're getting all worked up. He said, I know that I'm, at the stepping off point. And he said, trust me, this doesn't mean anything. And that always sticks with me when I get myself worked up over something that's kind of doesn't mean anything. Deep thoughts from Nanette. Over.
That's what I always say too. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the scheme of things.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You know.
I want to say a couple of things. First of all, Nanette, while you were doing that, while you were speaking and you had your hands behind your head like that, it looked like you had angel wings.
Yeah, well, she does. We all know that.
So, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the other thing, to go back to what Ariana was saying, I don't know if this will help, but a lot of times it helps me to think of life as a play, right? And God is the director and also all of the actors. And so
That Ram Dass saying too, when you're the actor, what is that quote in that? You know that quote, don't you?
No, let's let Linda finish here real quick.
Sorry. Just remind me of that.
So in a play, and I know this intimately because I used to be a stage manager, and that was a job that came like second nature to me. But a lot of times what happens when you're on stage is you forget your lines. And that's fine in rehearsal. Someone can shout your line out to you. But when you're actually on stage and there's an audience in the theater and you forget your line, you have to do something. You have to say something. And so you do. And it's probably not the right something. But you know what? This is the part of it that to me is really important. The people in the audience never know. They never know. I was once in a show, and I hesitate to bring this up because it has to do with a gun, and there was this gun death in the movie industry the other day. But there was a gun, and it was a prop gun, a true prop gun that only had, it was like a pop gun, like when you had kids. So it looked like a gun, but you put these paper things in it. There was no chamber. There was nothing to come out of it. But in any case, the thing didn't work. So here, the guy's supposed to draw the gun on stage, shoot the other guy, and the other guy's supposed to fall down. He pulls the gun out, he points it, he shoots it, nothing happens. Nothing happens. So he pulls the trigger again, nothing happens. And there's this moment. And then he goes, bang, fall down. And the other actor fell down and the play went on. And the point I'm making here is that the audience never knew. If you talk to the people afterwards, they were like, oh, is that what happened? Oh, I didn't even notice. You know, they were so caught up in the moment that could be classified as a mistake, or not remembering your words can be classified as a mistake. Yet once the moment's gone, it as others have said, it doesn't matter. What really matters is what you feel about it and what you put into it, right? So if you want to look back on some time when you made a mistake, if you want to beat yourself up about it, you can, but that's not the point of it. That's not the point of life, right? In that moment, this is a thing that most people don't know or don't realize about themselves and about each other. In any given moment, human beings by nature are trying to do the right thing. We're always trying our best. We always are. It's our nature. So when our best isn't good enough for whatever reason, that's where in the next chapter we're going to read, the next tool is forgiveness, right? But ultimately, your divinity having the experience. So divinity is not going to judge itself for forgetting its line or for the gun not working or for whatever the thing is. Divinity is not going to judge itself. And the only value in looking at the mistake is if there's something that you think you can learn from it. And other than that, just love yourself.
Thank you, Linda. I think that your analogy of the stage is very provocative. Because I was in the English department for 17 years at Colorado State University, so I know a little bit about the stage because you had to take a lot of drama classes. And what I kept thinking about while you were talking about this, and like, you know, when people would be leaving the theater and it may have been explained that the gun malfunctioned or whatever, there's this thought called the willing suspension of disbelief. And when you are willing to suspend belief, which you must do if you're watching a play, especially, because you know that the little house over there that's supposed to be 2 blocks away is right there, you know, but you go with it. And it's a very cool thing. And I just think that was a really great example, and thank you for sharing. And I want to welcome dear Anne to the program. It's nice to see you. And who else would like to say something? Mary?
Did you want to sit down?
No, I wanted to say that Linda talked. So
You wanted to say
thank you,
what?
Linda. Was so nice. Was so nice, really.
Yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It's a beautiful analogy, and I was thinking about what you said, Annette, with the willing suspension of disbelief. If we apply that to our life, you know, like, well, from my human perspective, this looks like mistakes, but from the play, Linda and Annette combined perspective, I'm willing to suspend my disbelief right now and remember that everything is unfolding imperfection in this moment, no matter how much it doesn't feel that way to me right now. Another thing I wanted to say was Linda's point about we're all doing our best. That was another really key learning thing for me. We're all doing our best in any given moment with the resources currently at our disposal. That is really key, because when I grew up and everybody's like, just do your best, just do your best, I internalized that to my best, like my 100% best is what I should be giving all the time. And if I wasn't giving that, then I wasn't giving it my all or doing well enough. And it really is huge to realize that my best varies from moment to moment and day to day and month to month and year to year, God knows, you know. So sometimes my best is that 100%. Sometimes if I get up to 3%, that's all I can do that day. Sometimes like my best is I got out of bed, I got dressed, I went to work, and I was kind to people. And I didn't do any of the actual other parts of my job. It's like accepting the reality of being a human, and that my best varies from here to here. You can't, so low you can't even see it on the Zoom screen. So that's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mary, as you talked about this, I mean, to give your best is always from your side. And if somebody else from outside feels, because nobody else ever can know what's your best.
Right.
I think that's even something people sometimes, to be on your best, and you say, yes, but my best is also, it's not only known by myself and not by anybody else. Everything around, it's just expectations, and I don't have to fulfill the expectation of the people around me. I think, yeah, if it's then, if the thing I do fills them up with, then fine, but otherwise, no. Yeah, that's it, over.
I like what you just said, and I think that doing our level best, as Mary was saying, especially if you're working. And I was working on Tuesday. I worked all week, just a million hours. But Monday, late in the day, I went and got my booster vaccine because I have an immune deficiency and I can't. I've already done the COVID thing once. But I felt horrible from the vaccine. And there was no way I could take off on Tuesday. There was no way. And I remember sitting here with my head so close to the keyboard, I thought it might crash into it. But I was doing my level best. And I let my co-working people know that I was doing my level best. And because somebody said, oh, you forgot to blah, blah, blah. And I just said, look, I'm doing my level best. And there isn't a great comeback for that unless they're jerks. And I work with people that believe in oneness. I didn't really say that. I'm going to erase that from the recording. Over.
Honestly, no. The reason I have kept laughing during this conversation is because I am having a very vivid memory of a job in which I was doing my level best and I was fired because my level best was not good enough for those people. Their expectations were very unrealistic, and they basically, out of fewer than 40 employees, they fired one person a month in the time that I worked there. I worked for a company of a similar size before that, and they fired one person a year. So I had some comparison. Anyhow, that's why I keep laughing during this conversation, because it's like I worked with jerks and they fired me because my level best was found to be not good enough. Anyway, and I know they were absurd and their expectations were ridiculous. And I joked with my friends who worked there, whose turn do you think it'll be this month? Do you think it's my turn? Like, is it my turn this month or your turn? Anyway. We joked that, was I going to have to do my own severance check? Because I was the right-hand person for the person who was the managing person.
Right.
And when she was going to fire someone, she'd come into my office and shut the door, or I'd go into her office and she'd say, close the door. And that was the sign that the next words were going to be, we're firing so-and-so, and you have to figure out her severance check, Anyway. That's all. Sorry, a little tangent. But
No, that's okay. That's the great thing about our group. You just go with it.
it was funny. In retrospect, it's funny. At the time, it was not that funny.
Yep. I personally really enjoyed that chapter. And I just felt like at the part where you were choking up, Linda, I was right there beside you.
Yeah.
It was so poignant and so well said. And let's face it, and I don't mean this in any disparaging way, but we're kind of Neale Donald Walsch experts. And, he hits some things just like, with the hammer on a nail. And other times it kind of does some weaving. And this last chapter, I'd like to let Neale know that I approve.
Yeah, it's a beautiful chapter.
Yeah, it is.
I hope the next chapter is as good, because I peeked and it's about forgiveness. Ooh.
No, it should be a good one. Well, we're Does anybody else have anything to say? Because we've got 4 minutes and somebody could talk for a couple minutes if they wanted to.
I just want to share one special thing. It's not about the chapter, but there is a flow summit in Sweden here now. It's a couple of people who are creating it. So there are lectures on internet. And today was Neale Donald Walsch, the speaker, one of the speakers. I haven't listened to it yet because it
Wow.
will be played for 24 or 48 hours, I think. But I just realized before I came here, oh, he is one of the first speaker in today's summit. It's for 7 days or something.
And
I will listen to it tomorrow and see what he's
What-
saying.
what's the name of the organization that's doing that?
They say Flow Summit. Flow Summit. It's
Oh.
it's in Sweden. It's a couple who is holding such. They have the unity of something. It's a call.
Well, I'll look it up.
Yeah, the unit, but they are called the Unity Sweden.
Okay.
Unity Sweden is there. Are they called? So when you get a mail from them, and used to listen to their, they're different. But today was Neale, the first speaker today. I think it was a little special. So I will listen to it. Mm,
All right.
that's all. Oh.
Okay, and Anne, I want to just check in with you. Is everything okay in your neck of the woods?
Hi, sorry I was late, so I missed the reading. Yeah, getting through things. I'm feeling, I don't know what I'm feeling, like some huge things are happening and I don't know what they are. Don't know what they are. I'm not sleeping. I'm not sleeping and all sorts of stuff like that. I pick up stuff. I don't know what it is.
A lot
Something
of
big.
people are having trouble sleeping, Anne.
Okay.
I know a lot of people that's going on, so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can relate
It's feeling
totally.
better. A lot of information, I think, out
Mm.
there.
Yeah, and I woke up this morning just gripped with anxiety, not
Mm.
over
Mm.
anything specific, just like in the field. The field is full of anxiety today for some reason.
Yeah,
Mm.
now I feel it. It went and made me aware.
And you know what?
But Nanette said her stepfather, your second father, said none of it matters. So that's a nice thing to know. He sounds like he was in the moment. He was present to where he was at, which is lovely. So none of it really matters.
Definitely.
Good to know, isn't it?
Yeah.
That reminds me, I can't remember where I heard this, but I just want to share it because it's really powerful. This woman was sitting with her mother who was on her deathbed and had been in a coma for days. And all of a sudden, her mother opened her eyes and spoke and said, all this time, I thought there was something wrong with me. And then she passed.
Wow.
Right? There's
Powerful.
nothing
Powerful.
wrong. There's
That's-
nothing wrong. Nothing wrong.
That's very powerful.
Deep.
That could be a poem.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, for real.
Totally.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I heard it in the Dalai Lama compassion course. He just did a 4-day compassion seminar. And well, it wasn't him. I mean, he sponsored it, but there were just like Global Oneness Day, speaker after speaker after speaker. And
Right.
one of them shared that. One of them shared that story.
That's a great one.
It is.
All right. Well, Mary, do you want to?
Play us out.
Thank you.
What a gift to be here today. with all of these beautiful manifestations of divinity, living our lives. And for each one of us here, our path has brought us here. It's so beautiful, you know, and all the beautiful faces. It just makes my heart happy to be here in circle with everyone who's here in each perfect unfoldment. And as we go through our life, I think that's what I want to remember this week, and maybe you will too, is the perfection of the unfoldment. All this time, we thought there was something wrong with us, with the world, with life as it's unfolding. And maybe we can learn from the profundity of people on their deathbeds that none of this matters. And also there's nothing wrong and it's all perfect. And we're all part of the perfection of the unfoldment of the moment. And it's so beautiful. And I'm so happy that I get to share that with you on Sundays. Thank you all for being part of my heart here.
Thank you, Mary, and thank everybody. And
Thank you.
I say this a lot, but I'm just going to say it again. You all have no clue how much you mean to me, and you do mean a lot. And I'm not just flapping my jaws. I'm very sincere that this group has come together. And now that I've buttered you up, I'd like to ask you a favor. I did mean what I was saying. I am in search of an apartment, the right apartment. If everybody could hold that intention for me.
Oh, good. You're looking for, you found one.
No, I need to find one.
Oh, you need to find one.
And I live
Okay,
in a
cool.
college town, and this is a tough time at this time of year. Mid-December, a lot of stuff opens up, but I need to be
Right.
gone
Yeah.
from where I am at the end of this month, or end of November, I mean. So
Can you leave sooner than that if something opens up?
a few days, but I can't like move in early November because my lease for this place is through November.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's not a rush. I mean, it's kind of a rush, but
Kind of a rush.
yeah, but not like you don't have to be out by the end of the month.
No, in fact, if that was the case, I'd say yes, everything does matter.
Right. Mhm.
All right, you guys, I love you all, and we'll see each other next week. And just come on time. We missed you.
I don't care when she comes as long as we see her beautiful face.
That's right. All right, love you all. Talk to you next week.
Thank you.
I love
Okay,
you all.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Bye bye.
Mm.